Jack's Snack. The Platinum Rule of Sales. Do unto others as they want you to do unto them. Chapter 10. Nurturing. If life's a sales call, and sales is about relationships, then nurturing is the chocolate ice cream. What I mean is that nurturing is the sweet stuff, the reward. A relationship of any kind is a process, not an event. A relationship is a continuum, a never-ending wave. Once it begins, nurturing begins. Whether it's a potential client, an old friend, your spouse or child, nurturing the relationship grows it. What is nurturing? In a nutshell, nurturing is giving. It is giving value, things, recognition, entertainment, and gifts. Some relationships gain traction over time and others fizzle out. The difference is the level of nurturing being exchanged in those relationships. I began to realize a while back that nurturing equals time. My idea that I could race through the day focusing on closing deals was a mistake. Eventually, I learned to make time to just sit and listen to those that I love and those that I wish to keep in my life. Schedules are made to be flexed. Going within, feeding the stream. My wife, Kemi, loves loving. In fact, she's far more demonstrative than I, though I remind her I love her just as much. I just show it in different ways. On the fortunate days, when I can work out of our home office, nary an hour goes by where she doesn't come into my space and nuzzle me like a cat, scratch my head. Okay, I know it sounds kind of weird, but I enjoy my scalp being scratched. Must be my thinning hairline. Or just tell me she loves me. This sounds terrible, but I occasionally act as if she's a distraction, especially if I'm in the zone, an expression I use when I'm all business. That's terribly selfish of me, I admit, and I try to catch myself before I act out. When she claims to love me more than I love her, I always counter with the same logic. No, you don't. I know for sure, because I'm measured with her yardstick, and we love each other exactly the same amount. Nurture your relationships, and they'll continue to deepen and prosper over time. Reaching out. Wake up, it's 3 a.m. Nobody likes a break in routine more than children. My 3 sons are no exception. One year, the Cubs opened their season against the New York Mets in Japan. The game was scheduled to air at 3 o'clock in the morning, Central Standard Time. I decided to make it a big deal for the boys. I talked it up for a week. We ran out to Blockbuster, I'm dating myself, to stock up on popcorn and candy and had them running around in circles. They were so excited about watching the game. At 3 in the morning, I went upstairs and woke them up. There we all were in front of our TV, having a party. I know that my boys will always cherish and remember that experience, and I'm so glad that I took the time to focus on nurturing them. It's not a focus I can afford to lose. If you're reading this and you realize that you have not been nurturing the relationships in your life, start now. You've heard that phrase, it's never too late to start. Well, that's not exactly true. When it comes to relationships, the failure to nurture can cause the relationship to die. Losing a relationship is a tragedy. The next step. This week, make a practice every day of nurturing one person outside of a family member. This may mean taking someone out to lunch and just listening. It may mean sending a card, leaving a caring phone message, or just asking what you can do for them that day. Next week, follow the same practice. Each day with your closest friends and family members, a different person each day. Every day for a week, take 15 minutes and do something you really like to do. Go eat ice cream, shoot baskets, or get a manicure. Do something just for you every day. Building blocks to successful sales. You are tuned into you. You know when you need a break, and you take it. You know better than to ignore your interests, so you manage to commit to yourself. In doing so, your energy for others increases exponentially. It has to, because you have got to move away from the chase and into the nurturing maintenance role every single day. Here are some ways that I have found to nurture and maintain existing client relationships. Stay in touch frequently without trying to sell anything. Continue to inform clients of new products and services. Give gifts to your clients in the form of free education, information, entertainment, inspiration. Be genuinely curious. There is still so much for you to learn about your client and their business. Send your clients referrals for their services. Become a crusader for your client's firm. How do you stay in touch without selling? For most people, that's not a problem. The salespeople, it is. Your client has a wide variety of personal and business interests. Be on the lookout in the media, in conversations, and in doing your own research for topics of interest to them. I like to send notes to clients. This may be an article I found, an anniversary card of our first meeting, a birthday card, or, best of all, a warm introduction to a future client. Of course, you can always just call and say, "How are you doing?" Then sit back and listen and be curious. Did I mention how important listening is? Sometimes, late at night, I will call clients' offices and leave warm thinking of you messages. Those that can, call me back. Those that can't, let me know later how much they appreciate just hearing from me. If the Houston Rockets, Texans or Astros are playing and I can scare up a ticket or two, I like to send them my client's way. Whatever I do, whether it's finding a pound of amaretto coffee that I know they like or passing on a link to a site, I am staying in touch once a month. I call it my Touch 12 system. You can become very creative with the internet, sending newsletters, cards, and notices. I prefer to rely most heavily on those kinds of contact that convey my presence, such as lunches, breakfasts, phone calls, cards, topical information, jokes, and small gifts. Each client has a touchdown day on my monthly calendar. When you are selling services and products, it's hard to remember to update everyone about what is new in your line. People love new stuff. What's new? There is no better way to stay in touch than to just let your clients know when you can offer them more or better products. If you've done your homework and really developed a relationship with them, then when you let them know of another offer, they will be eager to learn more. Do you occasionally provide teleclasses or real classes to people interested in learning more about your products or service? When you're considering what sort of gift to give a client, consider crafting an informative class and offering it for free. You may sell Italian tile, like my friend Randall, and you know a lot about how to transform a room or a house with tile. That's pretty interesting. I teach people how to sell. I could offer a free class on many subjects, and I have. One of my clients mentioned to me in passing that she and her husband would like to learn Tai Chi. I thought that was a tea drink served in Starbucks before they go to China on a visit. I was flipping through a local magazine, and I saw that a martial arts instructor was offering 3 free classes for beginners. I copied down the information and emailed it to her that day. Another client has a daughter who wants to study art in a small private college in California, but she doesn't know a lot about those schools. I have another client who does recruiting for California colleges. I put these two together. It was easy. They really appreciated it, and I felt like $1,000,000. I forgot to mention that when you stay in touch each month with a client, it feels great. I gave this advice to a colleague of mine. Stay curious. There's always something new to learn about your clients. Feeling discouraged, he methodically called one of his clients, a boat manufacturer, on his cell phone. When his client answered, my colleague distinctly heard sheep baaing in the background. "Are those sheep I hear?" he asked. "Yep. We offer all kinds of upholstery, and I came out here personally to pick out the right hides for a special order." My client was flabbergasted. He had no idea that his client's business extended as far as animal pelts. What else was there he didn't know? Keeping that experience in mind, he remains genuinely curious, always looking for that surprising fact that expands his understanding of his client's needs and wants. Referrals are beautiful. Referrals are fine. While you're out there selling your wares, remember that your client is selling their wares too. I like to send at least one referral a year to each of my clients, more if I can. Is your client a banker? Perhaps you can have a friend who is relocating his business to your city and needs a new bank. Does your client run a catering business? Every wedding, bar mitzvah, etc., mention that crosses your path should be accompanied by an offer of this client's information with your endorsement. Talk about showing the love. Talk about paying attention. Nothing says, I value you more than a referral. Just as you hope that your client will appreciate your services and products so much that they become an extension of your sales force, so do they hope that you will be a crusader for their firm. When I say crusader, I mean someone whose interest is really personal and who cares about the firm with a kind of ownership that comes from friendship and loyalty. In fact, I suggest that you invest time in not only nurturing your centers of influence, aka crusaders, but also training them in the fine art of selling your firm's solutions. Talk about sales leverage. I love Swiss money, sales while I sleep soundly. That's the kind you'll generate when you invest in your crusaders. They'll be selling you when you least expect it, and mostly without your involvement. How many persons of influence have you known who solicit you for assistance and then neglect to tell all of their friends and colleagues about how wonderful you are? It's a cold feeling. Make a fire that burns brightly by speaking highly of your client's business whenever it could help them. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." Word of mouth can make or break business. Let your word be one that makes business your client.